Welcome back to the channel. Those of you who are current subscribers, thank you for returning. Newcomers, go ahead and push that red subscribe button to become join the family. All right, today, as you can see, we got a lot of cheese here. We're gonna make some homemade macaroni and cheese. It is holiday time, and we're gonna get right to it. As you can see, I got the macaroni on to boil, and how much macaroni you use just is determined by how many people you're going to be serving. I've used a box and a half, and let me show you what I mean by a box and a half. This size box is a 16-ounce box, so I've used a box and a half, so we're talking about 24 ounces or so of macaroni. Just judge it by how many people you know are going to be eating. We're going to use some black pepper. We are going to use Velveeta whole milk. We've got Sargento's, the 4 cheese, Mexican cheese, which has got the Monterey, the cheddar cheese, queso cotilla cheese, and Asago cheese. We've also got 4 state cheese, and that's got your Sharp, New York Sharp, California Mild, Vermont Sharp cheese also. We're using some Philadelphia cream cheese, real butter. We've got organic paprika, white pepper, garlic powder, and our garlic powder. And we're going to use a can of cream of mushroom soup. So we're going to go ahead and let those noodles boil and get ready to start adding the other things that we need. There's our cream of mushroom soup. That macaroni is done. We're going to go ahead and use this colander and strain it and put it in our pan. Straining out our noodles. Okay, all those are not going to fit in at once, so we're going to take this amount and put them in there and then come back and get the rest, okay? Okay, we're putting this all back in the pan because we want to be able to melt all this stuff really good. And here comes the second load pasta. Okay. At this point, if you don't think you got enough, this is where you're going to need to go ahead and make you some more if need be at this point. Because we're about what we say at the point of no return. Hopefully this is going to be enough. Or as they say, make it enough. Okay. I always add my dry and everything except for the butter last. The only reason why I don't add my butter is I feel like when you add the butter first, it keeps everything from sticking to your macaroni and cheese. So all the things that are easy to stick, I like to go first. I start out by putting 3 eggs in. Okay. Okay, I'm going to use, I'm trying to do the measurements for you. You all know I'm not good with measuring stuff, so, but I'm going to make an attempt to this today, okay? Just for you guys, okay? We're just going to use about a teaspoon and just sprinkle that around, and that's your garlic powder. Now we're going to take our white pepper. And we want a teaspoon of that. Yeah, I'm going to put a little bit more of this on here. Yeah, okay. And just sprinkle that all around. Okay, just because you're adding this amount does not mean you can't add more or less. Everything is to flavor, so be mindful of that. If you think after you're done and you do your taste test and you feel like you need a little more, don't be afraid. This is your black pepper. We use a teaspoon of black pepper, and then we're going to use a teaspoon of your paprika. I don't have regular paprika, so I'm going to go ahead and use the smoked. It's not going to hurt it. Okay. Excuse me. We've gotten all our dry ingredients in here with that egg. We're going to go ahead and get this mixed around. Okay. Let's mix that around until you don't see large areas of the seasoning just in one area. It gets mixed around really well. Okay. That's still real piping hot. That's how we want to keep it when we're mixing it. Okay, we're going to go in. We've got 3 bags of cheese. Normally these come in 2-cup sizes. They say 1 7/8, but that's close enough. So we're talking 6 cups of your different kind of cheeses that you want to use. You want to make sure Sharp is one of those cheeses that you use. It's something about, my grandma used to always use that Sharp cheddar. It's something about that just takes it to the next level. You can have any kind of cheese you want, but you got to include that Sharp in there. Okay. These are the different types that I use, but don't be afraid to use something else, some other type of cheese that you like. You know, we're all about making it our own. So make sure you're maintaining that. Okay. Might have should have saved some of that out. Okay. Okay, we've got our Velveeta cheese. Get this out the package. Okay. And what we want to do with this is we probably can use half of this and be good. But like I said, don't be afraid to add something after the fact if you think you need it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is cut this in half. And we're going to cut this up. Let's cut it in blocks so we can put it in there while that macaroni is still hot, because it will melt this down. Okay. Take these bigger chunks, cut them down a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and add this to our bowl. I'm just going to throw that over into the bowl. Okay, now we've got our Philadelphia cream cheese. Got quite a bit of cheese on my hands. I'm going to open this up. And this, we're going to take this whole block and throw it in. Go ahead and push that in there. Okay, and you can kind of cut that a couple of times too so it can get mixed around also. Okay, now move all these little things out of our way. Okay, that's looking really good. Okay. Okay, let's put this back up. Okay, now we're going to start stirring this around. Take your time because it's going to take a little bit for the heat of that to melt down the rest of the cheese. Okay. And just keep stirring that until we get a good consistency. Okay. We're going to add our milk a little bit at a time. Okay. So you're going to use about a cup, at least a cup of milk. And yes, we're going to use whole milk. Okay. We're going to add 1 cup. Let's pour it around. Well, actually, we're going to go ahead and add 2 cups. So we need a little bit of that. Now, if you want to, if you don't have this on the stove, you can actually heat that milk up, and that'll help melt down a lot of this too. Okay, and you just keep right on stirring this until it has a certain consistency, and I'll show you that when we get there. I like to have that cheese melted down, cream cheese and all, before I add any of my other ingredients. I want that cheese to be all throughout there, evenly throughout there. Just keep right on stirring it, and it'll keep melting down. If you need to put this back on the stove, you can, and just put it at a very low heat, because like I said, we're trying to melt down all these ingredients, make it a nice creamy consistency before we add the last of our ingredients, okay? Okay, now as you can see, this is the consistency that we want. I'm actually, at this point, we're going to add another 2 cups of milk. Or I say 1.5 cups. That's about the amount that you want. Okay, right there. Okay, you see that? When you see it looking like that and it has the little bubbles in it, now it's time to add that can of cream of mushroom soup. Go ahead and add that. Okay. Get all that out of there you can get. And then make sure this is added all the way around. Now be mindful, this is still on the stove. It's low, but you have to keep stirring that. You do not want that to burn. Now see how creamy that is? Now it's time to go ahead and add, you can go ahead and add your butter. At this point, we're going to add that soft butter. Okay. Get all this off of there. Don't waste any of that luscious butter. And there's 2 sticks we're adding, okay? So that you know. Any of that, okay? And now we're just going to keep stirring that until you see that butter go all the way in. Remember, add the butter last. I don't know why, but it does make a difference. I believe that when you add the butter first, it makes it more hard for the things to adhere to the noodles. And see, when you add that butter last, it gives you that nice, wonderful, buttery flavor, but your cheese and everything has already adhered to your noodles, so you're just adding the flavor, and you're not stopping anything from going together and marinating together like it should. Okay, look at that, people. That is just beautiful. Now, for me, I like a real nice orangey color for my macaroni. So I'm going to add just a little bit more paprika to this. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and give it a taste. Let's give this a little taste, see what we're working with. On the side. Let's see. Oh. That's good. But I do want a little bit more pepper too, black pepper. And you know, everything's to taste. So you taste it at this point, and then you're going to know what you're going to need for what your taste is, all right? Okay, at this point, just get this stirred up real nice and mixed up really well. And then this will be time to put this in our baking pan. We'll put our last little touch on it, and it can go in the oven. That's just beautiful. Okay, now make sure you cut that stove off, and if you're using electric, pull that away from that eye, because it is technically still on and giving out heat, and you don't want to mess around, not pull it off and burn your macaroni. Okay, now it's time. Pouring this in our pan, and all that deliciousness out of that pan. Take you a spatula. You want to use a spatula because it's going to get everything out. You know why I'm doing this right-handed, about to break my arm. Okay. Look at that. That's just beautiful. Creamy, rich. You won't have any of that left. I can guarantee you that one. Okay. Set that aside. Now, out of that cheese that you have, you do want to set some aside and save some for the end, because what we're doing is we're going to cover the top, the last little bit of grated cheese, have a nice topping on top of there. Okay, look at that. That's just beautiful. Okay, and for a last finishing touch, just going to sprinkle a little bit of parsley flakes on top. Yeah, just a little bit of parsley flakes on top. And that right there is ready to go into the oven. Okay, we're going to put this in. If it'll fit. Wait a minute. Okay, hold up for a second. Get this rack out. Put that on the rack. Push this on in. Push that rack in. Here we go. That right there is beautiful. Look at that. Just beautiful. Take a little portion of this. Oh, look at that. That is just gorgeous.